Let us take a look at the story, the outline story of Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. Let's just look at the story. In the middle of the sea, there is an island, and an old man called Prospero and his daughter Miranda, they live here. So Miranda has only seen her father ever since she can remember. She has not seen any human being, and the only person she has seen is her father. And so these two people are living here. Prospero and Miranda live in a huge cave, and that cave has been partitioned by Prospero, and Prospero uses one part of it as his study. He has books there, and he loves to study magic because it used to be, in vogue those days to study magic. And so Prospero has books on magic. He keeps studying those books. And before Prospero and Miranda came to this island, there used to be a witch whose name was Sycorax. And she was a wicked witch. What she did was, she used to command people to fulfill her demands. And if they refused to do it, she would encase their spirits in trees. And so there were lots of trees here with spirits of human beings encased in them. Then this witch dies. And after the death of this witch, Prospero and Miranda come here. Because Prospero knew a lot about magic, he is able to free these people, the spirits from the trees. And those spirits were invisible, and they were so happy that Prospero had set them free that they were willing to stay here and obey his command, Prospero's command. One of these spirits is Ariel, and Ariel will appear later on, not the same Ariel, but yes, the name appears in Alexander Pope's Rape of the Lock. So Ariel is one of the gentle spirits whom Prospero has set free, and Ariel willingly serves Prospero. But of late he has been telling Prospero that, Master, set me free. Set me free. And Prospero has been telling him, yes, you obey my command, I'll set you free. You do this, then I'll set you free. And Ariel has been very happy doing things for Prospero. That witch had a son whose name was Caliban, and he was a monster-like creature, and he lived there. It was a forest-like area, And Prospero takes pity on Caliban and he sets him to free. And how does he set him free? Sort of, he tells him, okay, you can come and live with me in my cave. And so he brings Caliban with him to his cave and he tries to teach him good things. But Caliban has learnt all the mischief from his mother. He's not willing to reform in any way. He's not willing to learn anything. He's a bad natured person, spirit rather. And so Prospero decides that Caliban will have to live here and do a lot of menial jobs like collecting firewood, generally act like a servant. And Ariel has been commanded to make sure that Caliban does his share of work. Ariel is not a mischievous spirit, but he takes pleasure in teasing Caliban because Caliban is the son of his enemy, that witch. And so sometimes Ariel will become like a hedgehog, porcupine with quills, and he's invisible. So he'll lie on the ground, and Caliban will go around trying to do his work, and he'll stumble over this porcupine or hedgehog and he'll fall down, and then those quills will prick him, and Ariel feels very amused. One day it happens that Prospero asks Miranda to come and stand with him, and they look ahead at the sea, and there is a huge storm. And in the middle of it all, there's a huge ship which is bobbing up and down, up and down. And it appears as if any moment either it'll hit the rocks or it'll go down. Miranda turns to her father and she asks him, how did this happen? And Prospero tells her, I made this happen. Miranda says, but this is not right. I feel bad about those people. There must be people there. What will happen to them? And Prospero says, I made it happen, and I have made sure that nobody is hurt and that everybody is safe. Don't worry about it. Miranda is a little worried, but she doesn't say anything. Then Prospero asks Miranda, do you remember anything about your childhood? Do you remember anything other than this place? Do you remember any other human being? Do you have any memories? She says, not really, but sometimes something comes to my mind, and there is a memory of 4 or 5 women looking after me, but I don't know who they are or who they were. So Prospero tells her, this storm and this ship, I have made them happen for you. You have no idea who you are or who you were. Let me tell you. I was the Duke of Milan 12 years back. I was the Duke of Milan and you were my only daughter and you were the only heiress to everything that I had, my dukedom. I had a younger brother called Antonio, whom I trusted blindly. So I used to get on with my study because I was so fond of studying, and I had entrusted the dukedom to your uncle's care. His name is Antonio, and I had entrusted the entire dukedom to his care, but he played foul with you and me. What he did was that he arranged for a ship. He put us both, we've both found ourselves in the middle of that ship one day. And then he took us out into the sea, and in the middle of the sea, there was a little boat, and he mercilessly put us both, you and me, in that boat. And he would not listen to anything. He returned to the dukedom and he left us in the middle of that sea, not knowing what to do. Miranda asks then, what happened then? And Prospero tells her, I had a very trusted follower whose name was Gonzalo. He knew about Antonio's plan. So he secretly, arranged for food and kept it in that boat. He arranged for some other things that would be useful for me, and he arranged for all my personal books that I valued and treasured so much. He put all that in the boat, and he must have hoped that we both would somehow survive and we would reach some island, and we did reach this island. Miranda asks him, if my uncle had been such a wicked person, why did he just not kill us? He could have killed us. Why did he not kill us? And Prospero answers that he would have perhaps liked to do it, but he could not do it. He did not dare to do it because the people loved us. And the people loved me so much that he would not have dared to do this. And that is the reason he set us afloat and he left us to fend for ourselves. And here we are. So Miranda asks him, okay, what has this ship got to do with all this? And Prospero tells her that your uncle took the help of the Prince of Naples, actually the King of Naples. So your uncle took the help of the King of Naples, and they, did all this plotting against us. So what did I do? This ship carries your uncle, Antonio, and also the King of Naples, and there are other people too. And I have arranged for this storm, and I have arranged for this upheaval. So Miranda keeps quiet. Prospero, assures her. He says, don't worry, no lives will be lost. There will be no damage. Then he asks Ariel. Miranda goes her way, and Prospero asks Ariel, did you do what I asked you to do? Ariel says, Master, yes, I have done what you asked me to do. Now set me free. I have done everything that you asked me to do. Now set me free. And Prospero says, no, 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 don't you remember that witch? I set you free. What a huge thing it was. You have to do some more for me. Only then I'll. There's an affectionate bonding between these two people. So they keep playing with each other's, in each other's company. They do this thing. Then Ariel tells Prospero that King of Naples, his son Ferdinand, he's a very handsome youth. And I did some magic because of which each one of them, everyone on that ship, each one of them is somewhere around this place. Ferdinand is, in sitting in a corner of this island. He doesn't know where he is. He's wondering. He thinks his father is dead. The father thinks the son is dead. Each one thinks I'm the only one living. Everyone. The fact is that everyone is living, but they are not able to see one another. So Prospero says, that's very nice. So go and bring Ferdinand, the son of the King of Naples. Bring him before me, and I want him to meet my daughter. Ariel goes to Ferdinand and he sings a song. It's a song, and in the middle of the song, he utters the line, those were pearls. These are pearls that were his eyes. This is an important line because it appears in the Wasteland too. It appears in the Wasteland too with reference to that drowning sailor. Madame Sosostris makes this comment. And so he sings that song and somehow he implies that the father is dead, whereas the father is not dead. And so now Ferdinand will come and meet Miranda. And this is the first time Miranda is going to see a human being, another human being, someone other than her father. And so she'll be very surprised. She'll wonder who he is. And he's, she's breathtakingly beautiful. So he looks at her and he asks her, are you a goddess? And she says, no, I'm not a goddess. Miranda and Ferdinand are very happy in each other's company. And just then Prospero appears there. Actually, he was standing around, invisible, and he suddenly appears. And he tells Ferdinand that, see, you have come here as a spy. And you have come here because you want to drive me away from this island and you want to take possession of this, and I will not let that happen. And Ferdinand keeps insisting. He says, no, I haven't done anything of the sort and I have no such intention at all. And immediately Prospero says, no, nothing doing. I'm not going to have this. And they get into a kind of scuffle, a fight. And immediately Ferdinand draws his sword and he says, I'm not going to tolerate this either. And what Prospero does is, with the help of his magic, he does something so that Ferdinand is rooted to the spot where he's standing. And Miranda asks her father, why are you so rude to this person? He seems so nice. Why are you so rude? And her father says, you don't know anything about these people and you don't know anything about such human beings. You have only seen me and you have seen Caliban, and you can only see that this man is much better looking than Caliban. But the truth is that there are hundreds who are much better looking than this man. They have much better qualities, so you don't speak. Anyway, Prospero leads Ferdinand towards the cave, and he tells him that, okay, I'll spare you, but you've got to do some work. I'll make you do some work, you'll have to do it. So Ferdinand says, what do I have to do? And Prospero says, you'll have to pile up several logs of wood. Do that, heavy logs of wood. Now that's a prince. He's not used to piling up logs of wood. Prospero pretends to go into the cave to continue with his study work, but actually he doesn't. He just becomes invisible, and he's standing there. And these two people, Miranda and Ferdinand, they sit down, and the prince says, how will I do this? I've never done this kind of work in my life. And Miranda says, don't worry, I'll help you. He says, no, I won't have you doing all this. And then he asks her, what is your name? She tells him that my father has forbidden me to mention my name to anybody, but I will tell you my name, and she tells him her name. Prospero is standing there invisible, and he smiles to himself because he has done something to make sure that these two people fall in love with each other at first sight. And so he's very happy that his daughter has disobeyed him. And so this girl says, I'll help you. And Ferdinand says, no. And then they both sit down and they start talking. And Ferdinand tells her that you're the most beautiful girl I have seen, and I would like to marry you, and I would like to make you the Queen of Naples. And this girl says, I will be very happy to marry you. And they keep talking, and then again Prospero appears. Now, these two people get frightened, but Prospero says, see, don't worry, there's no need to be frightened. I was only testing you both. I wanted to see whether you really love each other, and I'm convinced that you love each other. So now he tells Ferdinand that I know that, I have troubled you, and I've been rude to you, and I've been angry with you, but see, I'm going to reward you. I'm going to give you my most precious possession. I'm giving you my daughter. You can marry her. So he gives his consent. And these two young people are very happy, and they go and spend some time together. Meanwhile, what Ariel does is, he goes to the place where he has kept these two people, the King of Naples and Antonio, the younger brother of Prospero. And he appears as a monster, and these two people are wandering there. They are hungry, they are tired, they are thirsty, and suddenly a table and a huge feast appears, and they are so happy, Antonio and the King of Naples, and they go towards it. And just then Ariel appears in the shape of a monster, and he frightens them, and they are terrified when they see him, and they ask him, who are you, and why are you doing this to us? And Ariel immediately says, this is, because you have done that huge sin of driving away the rightful Duke of Milan, and you drove him and his innocent daughter away from the dukedom, and this is the punishment that you'll have to bear for what you did. And so this Antonio immediately feels very bad. He says, no, I'm very sorry for what I did. I won't. The King of Naples too feels very bad, and they appear to be genuinely, repenting for whatever they did. And so Ariel comes back to Prospero, and Prospero asks him, what have you done with those two people? And Ariel tells him that they seem to be genuinely repentant, and I think they genuinely wish to make amends. So Prospero says, okay, then bring them before me. Let me see, bring them before me. And so the king of Naples, Antonio, and Gonzalo, that faithful servant, not a servant really, but somebody who had been faithful to Prospero, these three people are brought before Prospero, and these three people are feeling so terrible because they've been wandering and they've been so terrified of everything. They fail to recognize Prospero. And Prospero first appears before Gonzalo, and he feels very happy. Gonzalo feels very happy, and then Prospero makes his appearance before Antonio, and Antonio is genuinely repentant, and the two brothers embrace. And Prospero tells Antonio, he's very noble-minded, Prospero. He tells Antonio that, look, it was not your fault. Actually, divine providence wanted something very good for my daughter. The dukedom of Milan is poor, and Naples is very rich. And Providence wanted that my daughter Miranda should become the Queen of Naples. So a situation came up which drove us both out, and because we were both driven out of the dukedom and we were here, now Providence again planned something, and she brought all of you here, and she brought Ferdinand here, and Ferdinand and Miranda, they want to marry each other. Before he says this, before he says all these things, he tells the king of Naples that, look, I've forgiven you, and now I want to give you a gift. And then he takes the king of Naples to the place where his son is. He's sitting with Miranda, and then he makes this speech. So now it's all clear that all these people are going to return home, and Prospero tells Ariel that now I'll set you free. I had promised to set you free, and I'll set you free. And he buries all his magic books and the magic wand and all. He buries it there, and he says, I have no further use for this. I won't be needing this anymore. And so he decides that he will return with his daughter to Milan along with his brother. And the king of Naples says that I'm very happy. I haven't seen a more beautiful maid, and I'll be very happy if she marries my son. And so the story will end happily. And Ariel says that I have been very happy to serve you, but I would love to have my freedom. And so I'm very happy that you are setting me free. So the story has a happy ending.